Welcome everyone. Tonight we have a very special guest, and we're going to have a very interesting conversation. Um, I'll say that it might be perfectly for the title, Beyond the Crown. We have Keina here, and Keina's going to talk about what she wants to talk about. In regards to, the reason why it's Beyond the Crown is because sometimes people will see you in a moment as far as she is a model. One of the things she does is she models, and they'll see you in a crowning moment. And for them, it may be a moment of uh, congratulations. You reached the pinnacle of modeling. But for the person that's modeling, you never know the journey that they took to get to that point. And Keen and myself are going to have a conversation in reference to not just the journey that got her to that point, but the journey that she's continued to be on. And um, at a certain point in her life, she made a complete pivot for the better and a complete pivot for basically being out of her comfort zone and why she chose to do that. And basically, um, she's choosing a different path and allowing her to be where her feet are at, as they say, not focus too much on her future, just being in the moment. So, what's up, Keena?
Hey, good evening. How's it going?
What's going on with you?
I'm here. Thank you for inviting me on. I'm really excited.
So for the audience sake, me and Keena known each other all our lives, and you guys may not know, so I'll just tell them. Keena, give people a brief background of who you are. Just define you.
To find me. Well, as everyone knows, I'm Keina McCutchen. I grew up in Union, New Jersey. Again, that's how we know each other. Um, you know, just growing up in Union it was good, very diverse background, as you know, from our middle school through high school. And then graduated and just started living life. But some of the background, what I really experienced is getting into my 20s and 30s. Just a lot of experiences that I went through, and then going into my 40s and almost close to 50, and just how my life changed through the course of time. Um, and like you said, we'll touch on each point, but a lot of people know Keina McCutchen as the student council president, Keina McCutchen as the cheerleader, Keina McCutchen as the smiling, always happy person. Every time you see me, I'm smiling, I'm happy. How are you? I'm good, I'm great. But there's been a really long path in my life. And I've gotten to the point that, I talk about it, I speak about it, so that way I can help others and what they may have experienced in life, in our generations of what we experienced as well.
One of the things that I noticed, and it's funny, and I'll tell you, like me, and not only just myself, but a bunch of we all, like you said, we all grew up together. So sometimes you don't know what anybody goes on in their personal life. So you see them through social media, but we had noticed, and I'll tell you, we had noticed, like, yo, she modeling, like, and it was just, if they could say aura can come through a computer screen, it was just like this aura, this super duper, like great confidence that was on display. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on with Kena? Like, yo, I don't know what it is. As they say, it's it. She got it. Like, what's going on? Like, like what happened? Like, it's like a total, I don't want to say transformation. It's a total e- e- uh evolvement. Like you really like evolved to like, yo, she's modeling? Like, where did this come from? It was so talk about how like that came about. And for those that don't know, I'm quite sure you've always modeled it. People just didn't know. People didn't know that that was a passion. Explain that.
I've always had a passion for fashion, Like you said, modeling, I dabbled in it a very little bit, like in junior high school, but I backed away from it. I took cosmetology in high school. I worked, in retail, really loved it, but life took a different turn. What got me started here is in 2023, I decided to do a competition. But right before that, it was a lot of things going on in my life that I was just transitioning through. I would say, just living. Like you said, I was just smiling on the outside. And then when I got to that point in that transition point that we'll talk about, I realized I wasn't living life. I wasn't enjoying life. I was living life worrying about other people. I was living life worrying about society. And I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do. And all through that, my self-esteem was low. I was struggling with just knowing who I was. I had great social anxiety. Like, I didn't like to be, it was very hard for me to be crowds of people walking into rooms. If people really pay attention to me, you'll see me, but you would never see me in a lot of places where there was a lot of people or big crowds or parties or gatherings. I had a lot of social anxiety and things, and a lot of that had to do again with my self-esteem and who I felt like I wasn't good enough. I shouldn't be in certain places. I couldn't hang or be on certain platforms because I didn't belong there, because I wasn't good enough for that, or my self-esteem, I would shut down.
That's interesting. You said that because, like you said, one of the things that I think a lot of, I'll say middle-aged people, and we're all going through that now, is like the second phase of adulthood. You have a child when you're younger, family, marriage, whatever, and then it's like you get in your late 40s and 50s, and it's like, oh, I'm an empty nester. I just got to worry about me. So now you see a lot of, like I said, you see a lot of people our age that's really like, some are loving it, some are just like taking it full blast. Like, look, I'm a teenager again. Like, I don't got no responsibilities. Then you sometimes realize like I sacrificed a lot for my family, where I done got to my mid 40s and I never lived.
Mhm.
I never was able to define what I'm going to be. Or then you start realizing like, yo, like, let's be honest. When we saw a lot with COVID,
Hmm.
our mortality starts kicking in. You'd be like, yo, I may not be here another 30 years.
Yeah.
I may got 20, I may got 15. You don't know, none of us know. But then you start thinking like, yo, 45, 50, another 10, 15 years, I'm gonna be talking about retirement. Like, so talk about what was the catalyst for you to be like, this person that I've grown to become, that everybody on the outside loves this person. Everybody on the outside thinks this person is super dope, got it going on, nothing to complain about. What made you look at yourself and be like, nah, this person ain't it. This is not who I am. This is not me. I've been suppressing loving me the way I am.
Yeah. So that's a good point when you brought up the empty nester. That's kind of what it was a formula of destruction for me when my daughter was leaving off for college. Because when she was leaving off for college, I decided to have bariatric surgery. I had gained a lot of weight. I was up to almost 400 pounds. The year prior to that, I had separated from my marriage. So I decided to get bariatric surgery. So at that time, what happened for me was I had the surgery. I'm single again. My daughter's leaving. What do I do with myself? I didn't know what to do. I was used to being a caretaker. I was used to, my daughter was my world, everything. I take her here, I'm doing this. My world, it became empty. Now take that on top of me. My vice was eating. I had bariatric surgery. I couldn't eat no more. So it started off with, all right, wine looks fine. It looks fun. Started going out, having a drink here and there. Most of the time on Friday nights, I was replacing the alcohol with food because I couldn't eat. I'm losing the weight. Everything's fine. Within 6 months after that bariatric surgery, I ended up in my first detox. My
Mm.
life spiraled because I did not know who I was. My life was being a caretaker. My life was, running and doing X, Y, and Z. My life was my career. My life was doing everything else for everybody else but me. So when all of that just happened all at one time, I didn't know what to do with myself. And I weighed heavy on alcohol. I always dibbled and dabbled in other things throughout my life, but nothing caught me the way alcohol caught me at that point in time because of just how all the formula and everything lined up all at that one time.
And as they say, for a person that had bariatric surgery, you drunk your calories.
Yes. Yes. And it was amazing what I found out was as I was going in and out of different rehabilitation centers, detoxes, many women my age, I'm like, why is there so many women in their late 30s and 40s and alcoholics? And they're 50 to 75% of them had had bariatric surgery. So we went from food and other vices to drinking because one is a so society acceptable to drink outside of other drugs. You get to a certain age, you stop doing certain things because it's more acceptable in society, but it's still a drug or an addiction, just like anything else can be. So that's where I fell in and I fell hard. But I tell people, and this is like one of my quotes, I always say it was a curse and a blessing because I found out about myself. I found out about mental health. I found out about all these issues that I had that I was just burying and keeping down and deep and realizing again, I wasn't living life. I was stressed. I had great anxiety. I wasn't happy. I was depressed. I was living a life. I should have this by now. I should have that by now. I should have the house. I should be married. I should have had more kids. I should have this career. On the outside looking in, you're thinking, yeah, everything's good for you. No, it was horrible. And going through different type of therapy and having that rehabilitation, started realizing mental illness is real. Mental health is serious. We grow up in a society, many of us, especially in Black families, suck it up, deal with it. So what you're having a bad day, you're gonna have
Life is life,
life
or
is life and
put your
put
as
your big drawers on.
yeah, put your big drawers on, but tighten your bra strap. Like you could handle it. It's part of life. You could do it. And what happens, and like you said that and use that example, a lot of us struggle becomes the norm,
Yes.
and being able to overcome certain situations and not really being in that moment and being able to take yourself out and be like, you know what, let me start pulling some of these layers back and working on that and really dealing with each issue at a time. And that's an interesting transition. Like you said, with one of the things when you're a person that likes to eat, you like to eat certain foods. The palate is a tricky situation. And then they make food and wine and alcohol so addictive.
Yes. Mhm.
I mean, what's in it is addictive, not just from the personality standpoint. So going through that experience and realizing that mental health was real and some of the issues that you felt like, yo, I've been dealing with these issues and nobody never knew. How was that? How was that unpacking that stuff?
It was it was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, friendships, relationships, friends, a lot of people just didn't even know what I was going through because it became, you know, just I was unreliable or I'm disappearing for 30, 60, 90 days because I'm in rehabs. People didn't know I was gone. Even before that, so the way I look at my life, there was a 10-year span where I kind of went MIA, where if I really look back, a lot of people, or I was not present because between the weight, I kind of shut down. I didn't come out as much. And then when I was going in and out of rehab, I struggled with that for 6 years. It was at one point, it was like every 3 to 6 months, I was going in for 30, 60 days, coming home, working it out 6 months or maybe a year, but then I would go back. And I was unreliable. I wasn't, hey, come out, Keina, you going to show up to this? Yeah, I'll be there. Next thing you know, I'm drunk at home. I wouldn't show up. I wasn't a good friend. I wasn't, reliable, for, let's say, for my daughter. I wasn't reliable to my family. Work, if I made it, I made it. If I didn't, I didn't. Some days I didn't go for 2 or 3
Oh, so
days.
you look, so you found every excuse in the book not to do something, not to show up for people.
not to show up for people, or I just wasn't, I hate to, like, just to be very blunt and blank, I was passed out drunk somewhere,
Yeah.
2 or 3 days, just out of my mind, just not being present. And it got to the point where I'll tell everybody, and you'll hear it all the time. You have to want it, no matter how much your family wants you to go, no matter how everybody else wants you to get straight and get on the right path. It got to the point that I had to want it. I was like, I can't live like this no more. I don't like living like this no more. And like you said, as I was peeling the layers of who I was and realizing I was doing everything to live a certain life and not living for me, that's when I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I don't care what people think. I don't care what I'm supposed to be or what society is saying I should be at this point in my life. And when I started putting that down and saying, I don't care about that and I care about me, that's when things started turning around slowly. And some people liked it. Some people didn't like it. Keina was a people pleaser. Keina was whatever you needed. I made sure I did it. I put everybody first. But when I started putting myself first, a lot of people didn't like that.
Yeah, that I'm quite sure that was a major issue because now you're pulling those layers back. Now you're starting to say, okay, this is who I am today. This is who I really am. Now I got to go through the struggle of telling somebody something that's going to hurt them or not just hurt their feelings but make them aware of something that could have happened 10, 15, 20 years ago. But you need to deal with this now so you can tell this person how I feel. Like, yo, you was bringing me vanilla ice cream all these years and I really wanted chocolate.
Mm. Well, why were you doing that? Like, well, I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to hurt your feelings, And I mean, that just goes into so many different other situations where you accepted things or you did things that you really didn't want to do or you didn't want to be a part of, but you did it because you didn't want to be that person to say no. And, that has a lot of trauma and, past that goes along with it too, toxic relationships, work, overworking, just there's so much that I look back now and go, wow, like I just was worried about what everybody else wanted and what everybody else thinking. I didn't put myself first. But then when I started putting myself first, that's when it all changed. That's when it was just like, I'm loving this. This is great. Like, I don't care. Like, and not to say I don't care about people. I don't care. I do care. But I had to learn to say, I have to put myself first. I can't take care of nobody else if I can't take care of myself. If I'm not good, how am I going to make sure that everybody else around me is good? I can't do that.
Did you struggle with, okay, this is where I am. This is the path I'm on. And I'm working on this. I'm working on me. I'm working on all these stuff. But the people that I've been around for so many years, they're not there. They're not at a place where they could even be some type of support group for me because they're just not there emotionally, spiritually, physically. Yeah, you could call somebody up, and be like, you could vent to them, but you need like the steps you started taking. Some of those steps bring in new people in your life, and then some of those steps you have to take alone. Prior to that, you already had your tribe, and then it's like you're not taking the steps with me. How was that? Because this new Keina was a new person, and every relationship that you had took on a different dynamic. How was that? That because at the end of the day, you still want the relationship that you got with people, but you're a totally different person that they perceive. You know. How did that happen? How did that take a life of its own? Tell me some of the highs and lows from that.
I mean, some of the highs were people just understood what I went through. People that were truly my friends let me go through what I went through and they accepted it. The lows is I did lose a lot of people in my life that they just walked away. Then another piece that's really bad, there's a lot of mending, there's a lot of apologies that I still want to do to people, but I just haven't gotten there yet, or I feel like they may not be there yet to say, you know what, I may have acted this way or treated you this way because I didn't know how to be a good friend. I didn't know how to be a good person, or when I was going through, I wasn't supportive to you. I've missed a lot for a lot of people. And a lot of people haven't gotten over that, where I've
Mm.
missed being there for family members, or I've missed being at events that I should have been at. And it's hard for people to understand, like, well, again, not really understanding what I was going through, or not really understanding that, like, I had a disease. It's more of like when people look at an addict, it's like you're doing that to yourself. It's a choice, not really realizing it is a disease. And I'm constantly working on that disease, but you hurt people as you're going through that disease. And I have to accept that too, that I hurt people along the way. And like I said, there's still people I want to apologize to, but I haven't gotten there yet to do it, and it's saying the right time and place to say, yo, I was really in a really bad place. I may have said some things I shouldn't have said. I may have done some things I shouldn't have done. And to go back and even if it's not mending the relationship, giving them that apology and saying, I'm truly sorry.
At what point did you find yourself where you had to get selfish with Keina? You
Mm.
had to be you had to just basically let go of everybody to be a better Keena. Like, yo, I can't sacrifice what I'm doing today to work on me for you, no matter who you are, because that is tricky. We love people. We're here to cohabitate with other human beings. We're not here to be alone. We have families. We have sisters. We have brothers. We got kids, mothers. What? How did that dynamic? Because I know with certain aspects of my life, and I'm going to just explain that, is that you literally make certain sacrifices and the love is still there, but it's distance. Is distance physically and is distance because your life is life and their life is life. But it's no love, as they say, it's no love lost, but it's like, damn, do they think that you might beat yourself up? Do they think I'm feeling like I'm better than, or how was that like when you had to go through that selfish moment?
That was hard because, like you said, you never want to. Well, I never wanted to feel like, well, I'm better than. But if you were not good for me, I had to leave you alone as well. If there were situations in my life that just were not good for me, I had to leave them alone. And like you said, you don't, again, that wanting to pacify and please everybody. But I had to get to the point like, this is not good for me. I got to move on. Toxic relationships. Can't do this no more. I got to move on. Friendships. I had friends that were very accepting, understanding I didn't drink. And then, okay, for a couple of years, I couldn't really go out and be in a bar or be in places like that because that would be triggering for me. I have friends that understood that and say, hey, let's go somewhere else. I have friends that wouldn't drink in front of me until they knew I was comfortable to go through it. And I had some friends like, hey, you ain't no fun. I don't want to hang out with you no more. And I didn't hear from them no more. And I respected that. I'm not
You're a
going.
party pooper, huh?
Yeah, I'm a party pooper. I'm not calling Keena. She can't do this. She can't do that. And just as growing up, there's a lot of places and things I don't do anymore that I did when I was younger, And like you said, no love lost. That's what you choose to do. That's up to you. But I choose to do this. But my friends that did go through the path understood, like, oh, she can go out and do stuff, like invite me. Like, people are amazed that I go to Trinidad for Carnival. They're like, wait a minute. You don't drink, but you can go to Trinidad at Carnival. Yeah, because I've learned how to have fun. I'm learning to enjoy life. I don't have to drink or do any drugs to have fun. That's me. I don't knock nobody else that wants to do it. And I'm to the point that you can do it with me. I can go to Trinidad with my girlfriends. Now, really, it's good for them because I'm the one watching out for everybody because I don't drink. So it's like going through those things in life that, you're starting to really enjoy. Like, now I remember everything that happened. They're like, what happened last night? And I'm like, well, you did this and you did that. And I had to pull you from over here.
So tell us about like the modeling, because that from the outside looking in was like, whoa, Where did this come from? Where did all this? I mean, you always smile, like you said. You always smiled. You always showed good energy. But this is more of radiant confidence
Yeah. It,
because I know a little bit about modeling, and you have to have a form of cockiness when you're a model. So, which most people will think is cockiness, but it's confident, and it's like, as they say, I'm gonna use some of the terms. You have to own it. You gotta own that runway. You gotta own the stage. You gotta own the clothes. You got to go out there because it's a product. It's selling something.
yeah.
So you have to go out there and let people know, like, I want what she got on. Because whatever she got on, it's making her look good. And I know I can look good in that because she went, as they say, she wearing that. So what brought all that
It
to
was
your doorstep?
it was a pure chance. I went to this women empowerment lunch. A young lady spoke. Her name is Danita Gray Prayer. To this day, I tell her, like, I would not be here if it was for you. She spoke. She moved so much. I followed on Facebook. She did a post about a competition, Miss Full Figured Supermodel in 2023. Put the application in. Then I thought, I'm like, I'm not doing that. They reached out to me, send us, the application. You got to send us a walking video. Kept on ignoring it. Finally, I submitted. They said, you're in. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. Okay. Well, what do I do? Long story short, I went into my first competition or pageant in 2023 and I placed second runner up. When I hit that stage, it was just a feeling of everything just changed for me. Like you said, it's like this personality turns on. I don't see or hear anything. Honestly, when I get up there, I don't hear or see anything. I'm just walking. And like you said, it's that confidence. And it's like my moment that I could just be Keina. You know what I mean? That confidence, you know what I mean? But it's humbling at the same time because it's like, yeah, when I'm on that stage, I'm that girl. Everybody's watching me. And for somebody to have social anxiety, it's almost like that, what do you call it? Your endorphins. It's my high that I get when I hit that stage. I mean, my heart, and I'm sweating before I hit that stage. If you saw me before I hit the stage, and then hit the stage, you're just like, wow, like that's weird because I mean, I'm a hot mess before I get on the stage. But
So
when I
you're
hit that,
so you're able to literally tune every and everything out.
it's almost like everything goes blank for me. Literally. Now I can hear sometimes there's a DJ or there's an MC and they'll ask you to do certain things. I can hear that, but literally it's almost like tunnel vision. Everything kind of goes like this for me.
Yeah, explain that, how, because a lot of people may not understand that sometimes you have to walk the runway and stop for 10 seconds, spin, and then go back the opposite way. So explain to us, like, did you ever have a moment like you just was in the runway and then you notice something and you see somebody in the crowd, or you just always just have this tunnel, like, I'm so focused on the clothes?
I'm so focused now. Like in the beginning, my first competition, I was like smiling. I'm looking at people like, hi, I'm on stage. I look back at that video now and I laugh because I'm like, I was just so happy to be in the room with all these great women that can walk this runway and I'm up there with them. And I still have that feeling because I mean, to be able to do this, it's like, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. But like you said, you get up there and majority of the shows, you are the hanger. You are bringing that garment for somebody to want to buy it. So it's not so much about you. It's about making the garments or whatever you're presenting look good. But at the same time, you're feeling good because you're like the center focus. And again, for someone like me before to have that focus, I never like to be the center of attention. I never was the girl that be, I'm loud. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but I would never like to draw attention. I'm in the corner. I'm sitting. I'm watching my girlfriends dance. They got to pull me on the dance floor. I was always that type of person. So for me, it's just like that one outlet, like going out and dancing. This is like my going out to dance. When I go hit that runway, it's like, this is me. I'm having fun doing it. But at the same time, people like, I'll tell them, I'm like, no, I have social anxiety. I'm not really social. And they go, really? You're not? I'm like, mm-mm. The energy it takes for me to be in a room of people and talk to people, especially people I don't know, is exhausting for me. It's
So
exhausting.
have you ever modeled, bring back memories now? Have you ever modeled where you're modeling and then the audience come in and look at the models and you guys aren't walking the wrong way? They're
Mm.
basically coming and looking at you guys and you guys are for you guys are basically, as people would say, sitting there in a pose like a mannequin and you're there. Have you ever had to do that?
I have not done that yet. I've heard of events where models are kind of like mannequins and they're there and people are like, walking by and you're kind of like on display. I have not done yet that I would love to do because they say it's a lot of fun. I've heard stories of like people like trying to make you move or trying to make you laugh or things like that. I have not done that yet, but it reminds me of almost like what castings. When you go to castings, you the designers are looking who they want to pick. So you're walking and they're looking at each model. They're looking at, how you walk, what you're doing, and if you fit for them. But what I had to learn is I couldn't take it personally. Just because you didn't get picked doesn't mean maybe you're not good enough. Because again, now here goes I'm not good enough, my self-esteem. I just might not fit what they're looking for. Sometimes they're looking for a certain height. Sometimes they're looking for a certain size. Sometimes they're looking for a certain walk. There's many different reasons what they're looking for. So what I had to learn too is I can't take it personally if I don't get chosen, or they may not have something that fits me, But at first you get all down now, like, oh my gosh, they didn't pick me. No, well, I wasn't what they were looking for, and I had to
So
be okay with that.
so let me ask you, when you talk about your modeling journey, how has that, like, going from your first time when you fill out the application and looking back at it today, how has that changed? I won't say change your life. How has that? What direction has it taken your life?
I would say it's taken me in a direction, like I said, honestly, it's been very humbling. It still makes me very nervous when I see people and they'll go, oh, yeah, I seen you on this. Oh, you're the girl for the pink room, aren't you? I still get like, I'm like, yeah, that's me. Like, it's a lot to take in, but it feels good because I have a lot of people that have come to me, especially other full figured women or plus size women, to say, you inspired me to start modeling. Or,
Mm.
I seen you could do it because I am not technically by standard, I'm not tall. I'm not going to say my height because my height on my comp card is what I say my height is. But lots of times your height you should be 5'9". Plus size. Sometimes, you can range from all different sizes, but my body is not cellulite free. I'm older, I'm not in my 20s. And now the trend is silver foxes. I'm not a silver fox neither. So I'm fitting in this in between mold where I have to bring myself to say, why would you want to pick me? I'm not your typical model. But that also makes me feel good because even though I'm not the typical model, I'm walking in shows. I'm walking New York Fashion Week next
Do
week
you
in two major shows.
do you feel? Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's an honor, man.
Yeah,
Do you feel like
I'm sorry, I'm actually gonna walk. I gotta say this. I'm walking for Nina Parker.
okay?
She has a collection at Macy's. So as you know, she's been a host for, I believe it might have been Love and Hip Hop, either Atlanta or Love and Hip Hop New York. She's TMZ, and she has a collection. So I'll be walking for her in Harlem Fashion Week on September 13th, and then I'm walking for Renee Carafaro, which she is a huge. She dresses many celebrities. Again, another plus size designer for New York Fashion Week. So to be modeling for 2 years. And this is my second year, and I've been walking New York Fashion Week. I'm like honored. You know what I mean? And
That's dope, and that's why I said, like, sometimes you took that step to fill out the application, and now all these doors are opening up that you probably never even thought that was there. I wanted to hit on something that you said, and we had this during our conversation. Do you feel like because you're not the quote unquote stereotypical plus size model that you are a person that's breaking barriers? You're not a silver fox, like you said. You don't fit the mold. You, like you say, I'm older. I got cellulite. Like, but I have confidence and I know how to model clothes. Do you feel like, damn, maybe I'm breaking barriers?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like I'm breaking barriers and setting a tone for other models, my age, my size, and the way I'm built. And, when I sit back and I look at it and I just go, sometimes I go, God is really, really blessing me. And sometimes I'll just sit and cry and be like, how did I get here? Like, how did this even happen? And like you said, it's that removing the barriers of what you think you can do. Not sitting there doubting yourself, not sitting there saying all the mistakes you've made in your life, I can never amount to anything, or I can't do this, or, I'm not good enough. You know, I had to really let all of that go. I had to let it go because it was literally killing me. And now to look to say, when I let that go, look what happened. And then to inspire other people, even talking about my addiction. I get so many people in the background that'll hit me up, message me, and I'll tell them, different ways, support groups, lead them to here, lead them there, or just check in on them. You'll be amazed how many people, reach out or they have family members and things like that. So sometimes I'll just sit back and cry. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm not by myself, like I'm really doing this and I'm really helping people. While I'm helping myself, I'm helping other people. It's never too late because I think we get to that age where we're like, once you get in society has this thing that when you're in the 20s, you're supposed to do everything, get your career, get married, have your children, everything's supposed to put the house, the cars, this, that. And if you don't do it, you're nothing. What are you talking about? Like you get in your 30s, you feel like a failure. And that's what I went through. I felt like I was a failure. But then I had to realize when I went through everything in my 40s and started realizing I'm not a failure. I am good enough. All the mistakes, everything I've made in my life has made me to who I was today. If I didn't do all of that, I wouldn't be here today. And thank God, God saved me many times, through a lot of different situations and a lot of things. But I tell people, it's never too late. Your mistakes don't make you. Live in your present. Don't, worry about your past and don't fear the future. You got to really accept who you are for who you are. Because if you don't accept yourself, nobody else is going to do it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm quite sure that the runway, like you said, the tunnel vision and tuning everybody out, that probably reminds you of when you used to cheerlead,
Hmm.
being able to perform, being able to put on a show. If you focus at the wrong thing and not focusing on your craft, you'll wind up messing up, making a mistake, not showing because I don't think people really, and I have to keep saying this, when you model, you have to show so much confidence. And it's like you can't have a bad day. You can't be up there and be worrying about, damn, my coffee wasn't good just an hour ago. Or I gotta hurry up and pay these bills. I don't, I got life this. No, I gotta do what I gotta do because I gotta show confidence. I am at another job and I have to do my best because other people may want to hire me because this is also a job application. This is a video. This is something. There's people watching. You never know who's watching you.
Never know.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about being social, not being social, like you said, as socially awkward. You'll say,
Yes.
how was it now? Explain your online presence with the boutique. Explain that. Explain what brought that about.
COVID. I was that person. Everybody started to do Facebook Lives and started selling things online, and I started buying like crazy. And then I'm like, this is that looks like a way another stream of income. So at first it was like another stream of income. But then when I was blessed to have many people come in my life and pour into me and show me different ways to do things. I said, you know what? I'm gonna open up a business. I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? That's in our blood. If my dad, he was always an entrepreneur. He was always a hard hustler. So that came into me. I'm like, I can do this. And amazingly, again, I couldn't believe that I like to be on the camera and talk to people. And it was like another weird thing, like, okay, I can do this. And when I did it, I loved it. I absolutely loved getting on Facebook Lives, talking, to people, and they're typing back, they're saying, they're, giving hearts. And then I started learning to really just ask people how they were doing and how's it going. And, people reaching out. So people started enjoying coming onto my lives because they said they actually liked to listen to my voice. And my niece actually said she liked the sound of the paper moving. And I forgot the name of it when you say like there's different sounds that are soothing the people. She used to just turn my lives on and listen to them because she liked the sound of the paper and my voice when she was pregnant because it actually put her to sleep. So, but that again was my way of breaking out of that social awkwardness. Like I'm socially awkward, but I enjoy doing things that people would say, but if you're socially awkward and you have social anxiety, how do you do that?
So
It's
you, so
my
you was a
outlets.
so you became a keyboard gangster.
Yeah.
That's interesting that really, yeah, the comparison of cheerleading and performing and modeling, but like, yo, you really got comfortable with talking on a screen where you don't know who's watching. You may see how many people watching, but sometimes it might not be nobody watching and you're just talking. And
Oh,
then
whew.
somebody might be watching on the playback and you'd be like, oh, you caught that? I didn't even know you was watching. And that takes a lot of confidence to be able to basically talk to yourself on screen. It's recording. You don't know who's watching it. You don't know how many people is watching it. You might see the most random person on Facebook Live that you don't even, let's be honest, that you haven't seen in forever, come and be like, hey, what's going on? Oh, I didn't know you sold this, that, and the third. Like, what was that experience outside of just the hardcore? Oh, I'm doing online boutiquing, but like, yo, I'm really connecting with people.
Hmm.
How was that experience? Because, like you said, you had your niece saying that to you. I'm quite sure that was some type of fulfillment there. Like,
Yeah. And you hear people say, "Oh yeah, I've seen you." Like you see me online. I'm like, yeah. But like the one thing that's funny to me was doing when you're first starting. Of course, you don't have an audience, and you're looking up in that corner, and all you see is zero. Nobody's watching me, but you just keep on going and going. But and then it's like nobody's on there, and you just keep on looking like nobody's on there. But I learned that I just enjoy doing it and just keep on going. So I would tell people keep on going, keep on doing it. But like you said, people are watching. And you don't realize that people are watching because I've had people comment or say things to me like I've run into them like, yeah, then I'm like, oh, you see me on social media? Like I don't ever see it. And you start realizing people do see you. And I don't know if it's the fulfillment of knowing that you're helping people and just doing what you enjoy doing. So I enjoy selling. Retail was my first love, but it just didn't make me no money when I was younger and I needed to go in the office and do a job. But if it was up to me, I would have stayed in retail. So I did enjoy that. Um, but like you said, that being online and that online presence and knowing that I'm helping people really drives me. And then I had my daughter that really helped me because that's what she went to school for. So she really became the catalyst behind me, really guided me on how to do things, what to do, how to post, how to even use social media. And like you said, knowing that you're helping people and not realizing that you're even doing it, that just fulfills me to know, okay, my post can help somebody. Like if you like on my Facebook, I really like to post several times a week. I like to post something uplifting. I like to post some type of scripture. I like to say good morning because you never know what type of day somebody's having and they see that and they respond or they say, thank you for posting that because I needed that today.
did you ever in that aspect? Did you ever be like, man, ain't nobody watching me? Ain't nobody, because sometimes we know how social media is. Social media for those of us that understand that endorphin, we know how it social media is the biggest tool to make you antisocial
Uh-huh.
because you're getting an endorphin rush, but nobody sees it and nobody knows why. So I say that to say we see on social media, you can post 100 positive posts, not much engagement,
Mm.
no traction. And you be like, that. You could literally tell people like, yo, I'm giving you a hookup. I know somewhere that's giving you something for free. Check it out. But the minute that you post some drama,
Mm.
some negativity, some tea, it's like all the comments come on. You like, and it really is a social experiment because we cling to, and you could be the most positive person in the world, but it's like a draw. It's like,
Mm.
oh, let me find out what's going on over there. Let me figure out. So how was that with you're posting this positive stuff and you don't get no track? How did you fight with not giving up?
I just I enjoyed posting positive things, and it was my morning ritual and just sharing with other people because like you said, I can post something that's positive in the scripture, but then if I post something that I'm walking in a show and I got a swimsuit on, I'm getting hundreds of likes. But I post something very positive, like, hey, have a good day. And it's like 2 likes. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I had to learn it was like, you know, what feeds me. It feeds my soul to say, you know what? Let's start our day off right. Here's something positive to go with whether you like it or not, but I do know people see it and people are reading it. So that's what keeps on fueling me from doing it. And like you said, understanding how social media works. I could post something. If you post something negative, people are all on it. They want to comment, things like that. And there's nothing wrong with it if that's what you prefer to do. But you have to also just learn social media and not get drawn in or sucked in. Yeah, like because in the beginning, when I first started posting and you post something and you get 10 likes, you feel defeated. You're like, well, that was awesome. Why would nobody like that? You feel defeated. And you're like, well, what's going on? And then you have to learn that you have to post because you want to post. People either gonna like it or don't like it because that will in the beginning that would hurt my feelings. I mean, I would be depressed. Like, why didn't nobody like that? That was an awesome post. I put a lot of work into that post. It took me an hour to get that post together, and I
I
get 10
did my
likes.
thing. I did my thing.
Like, and nobody liked that. But you have to, like you said, social media is fickle, and you got to enjoy just doing it. Like you, people, don't get me wrong. There's influencers, people that make money off of whatever. For me, it's I like to share news. I like to share good things. I like to share my accomplishments, and I never want nobody to take it as boasting. I take it as you can do it too. Look where I've come from. I've come from a very, very dark place, and look where I'm going. So it's like I like that when I do it, it's inspiring other people
Did
that
you did you ever did you have a moment during your journey, right? And like recent, and this is more recent. This could probably happen where somebody that knows you from forever, and and they approach you with the mindset of the old Keena,
mm,
and not know like I'm not there no more. Um, what I posted and what I'm about today is what I'm about today.
yeah.
How was that dynamic? Because really, the reality is that in their eyes, they're looking at the person that they perceive who you used to be, right?
Yeah.
In your eyes, you are today who you really been all your life. And you like, you know what? We went to school together, but you don't really know me.
Hmm.
You don't really know how this works. What ticks, what really makes me happy. Just because you saw me smile, or you probably made me smile before. That was just a smile. But how was that? How was that dynamic? Because at the end of the day, they're meeting a new person, but you're looking at them like you never really knew who I was.
Yeah. I would say sometimes it could dig deep because of what some people may reach out or say, and you're like you kind of sit back. But I've learned to like, look, I am who I am. Whatever, and just I've learned to respond and respond truthfully. You know what I mean? And just being me. Like, I don't run from it. I don't try to act like it's not there. I just be very honest. Like, if somebody hits me up in the street, like, yo, I don't get down like that no more. But I appreciate you. Thank you. You know what I mean? Somebody hits you up and hey, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But no, no, thank you. You know what I mean?
Because I can only imagine, because I know I was in a situation, to just give you the example. I was in a situation and somebody mentioned something that I had did online, and it made me feel so weird. And I'm like, that's me online. Like, dude, you know me. Like, and like to talk about, like, my thing is, if you know somebody, grew up with them, whatever, you see them, don't talk about what we see each other online. When you see somebody physically, it's totally different than than y'all interaction online. For some people, you could be their best friend online and really just be like cordial when you see them. But
Hmm.
then other people, you want to see them, you might embrace them. Yo, how your people doing? Like, yo, let's, I'm around. Like, let's go get something to eat. Let's go get some coffee. Let's talk. Don't talk to me about online stuff. And then
Exactly.
we have those friends that we don't even, they don't have no social media. So person may not even realize, like, don't ever question me about what I do online.
Mm.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. We have a different dynamic in person.
Very much different dynamic
Yeah.
in person. I feel like you said, like, I would say to people, like, if you sent somebody a message, would you say that to them if you saw them personally, face to
Mm.
face? You know what I mean? And that's another thing too. It's easier to sit behind, like you said, a keyboard gangster to type things or to send things. And if you saw me, would you say that to me face to face? You know what I
Mm.
mean? And so that's another big thing too. Like, would you say that to me face to face? Or, or I've seen people where I've seen them face to face and they didn't even speak. I'm like, oh, and so, but sometimes I go, maybe they just didn't realize who I was. And actually, I've been accused of doing like, I seen you, you didn't speak. And I'm like, I am so sorry. I didn't see you or whatever. And you have to apologize. So like you said, that dynamic of online and in person can get very, very touchy. And, and like you said, that what do they say, like the DMs and all of that, you got to know how to handle it and how to deal with it. And like you
You know,
said, just,
one of the things that you brought it up during the bariatric surgery, and then going into certain detoxes, you were saying a certain amount of women and in the age group and having that commonality. And I say that to say and bring it to this point. You see a lot of people who act the fool on social media, and then they'll see you. I think that you're saying you're socially awkward. I think a lot of people are more socially awkward. I think more people are socially awkward than not socially awkward, because we tend to go to work, come home, we stay in that comfort zone, our space. But then when you go somewhere else and you're not in that space, you're going to feel awkward. So I think that more people are socially awkward. And I think that that's not a bad thing.
mhm,
Being able to, like you said, when you are modeling, when you online, like, that's your element,
mhm.
that's your
Oh
zone. That's,
my God.
think about it, like, really, for you, you may not have realized it, but like maybe the outside looking in, like, you always been in the spotlight. You were a cheerleader, like you said, the class president. So people probably always was looking. You probably just ain't think they was looking, or you were so tuned out and
Mhm,
tuned into what you had going on that you didn't realize, like, yo, people are watching, people are checking, people are looking, people are noticing. And that's something that's we sometimes take for granted, how many people really do, give you your flowers, cheer for you when you don't know it. And I'm quite sure you saw that in your journey, like, yo, I got a tribe that came from out of nowhere.
mhm,
How's that? Like, because I experienced that, and one day we'll talk about that offline. Like, people question certain friendships that I have, and I'll be like, we were always friends. You just didn't know that this person was my friend
Yeah.
because of the lifestyle that I or that person lived at a certain time and how they were even in certain things that I may have been doing or they may have been doing. The support and love was there. You just didn't see it.
Hmm.
So how was that with discovering a new tribe?
That's amazing because I would have never thought at my age that I would make friends at this age. You really think that whoever you grew up with or whoever friends you had, that's it. This has really opened up a lot of new friendships and really realizing like not to sound cliche, people are really good. I have friends in so many different aspects that just have poured into me that I would have just never imagined that would happen for me. Again, I never thought much of myself. So I never would think that people would want to be around me or would want to be friends with me. You know what I mean? And now that I'm like, I'm being me, unapologetically me, I'm realizing people do like me. People do like Keina. They like being around me. And it makes you feel good about yourself. Like, yeah, I'm a pretty okay person. So that discovery of just being yourself, you'll be amazed at what you attract, all the goodness you attract. When you're good to yourself, you attract all those good people around you. So I have my model friends, I have work friends, I have my friends that I've had from over the years, I have my networking business friends. And like you said, when you open up and stop worrying about what everybody thinks and who you are, just be you, you'll be amazed how much you attract good people. And it feels so like sometimes I'll like really want to cry because people are like, well, no, it feels really good to have good people around you that really support you, that says good things about you. That growing up, a lot of times you have the girlfriends that stabbed you in the back. They didn't have nice things to say about you. You heard they talked about you. There were secrets you told and they told other people. But to get to this point in your life where it's like, I'm surrounded with good people. That's a blessing and a wonderful feeling.
Okay. I got a couple more questions, right?
Sure.
This is this now I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
You mentioned New York Fashion Week. That rolled off your tongue with ease. Oh, I'm doing New York Fashion Week. You're excited about it, but you didn't seem overly excited. And I'm gonna ask you, tell us about the moment where you feel you arrived. Or have you had that feeling like I kicked ass on that runway? So now you got your moment and it got real emotional. Have you had that moment yet? Or if you have, explain it to us.
I feel like I'm still arriving. Like I'm almost in tears. Like, oh my gosh. Like when you really think about it, it's almost surreal. Um, I feel like I'm still arriving.
I
Um,
mean, because Keena, let's be honest. You wore your crown all day?
did I wear it all day today? No.
Yeah.
No, I put
So
it on
why'd you wear it for the show?
because I want to represent.
Yeah, okay. So
Represent the
that's
queen
what I mean. Like this
I
this it have you so you was getting dressed, you're like, oh, me and Q, we gonna have a conversation.
am.
I'm put this on my crown. Have you been able to step outside your box and really look at yourself and have that moment yet?
I have, where I really stepped back and said, "You're doing it." You hear people, and I'm still in a place where people say it to me. It makes me feel uncomfortable sometimes. Where they go, "Keena, you're great. You're doing it. Oh my God!" And it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Then sometimes I look back and I look at a video. I'm like, "Look at me. I am truly doing it." Like you said, I'm looking at New York Fashion Week. And like you said, it's like sometimes you say it and I'm like, really like, no, I'm really walking in New York Fashion Week for designers. I walked in Africa Fashion Week in London. I was out there. I walked in another country. I am an international model. And sometimes it doesn't really, it doesn't sink in. It feels really good. It's like, and it's like I'm trying not to cry because I'm like, you know,
because the
I know I'm
reality
doing really
because the
wrong.
reality is that people will know your face more than they know your name. So you're liable to be going any and everywhere, and somebody be like, "I know you."
Hmm.
Lives. So a random person coming out of nowhere. Now, yes, you're a model, and you model, and you're doing your thing. You know you kicking butt. But random people coming up to you, pointing, talking about I know you, no matter who you are, it brings apprehension sometimes.
Yeah.
Because then you got to go into how this person can know you, or well, you should know me. Like, I'm a model, like So that's why I asked, being able to be out of your box, being able to really take your victory lap.
Yeah.
If you haven't done it to that extent, you should do it to that extent. Be able to give yourself flowers. Be able to say, like, my life is really on the track that it's supposed to. Because sometimes we think, life, I done beat myself down. I fell off track. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Be like, and then let's be honest, our age, people our age, we got a lot of friends that are retiring. And you be like, retiring? I'm still in my career. Like, I still work. What are you talking about? And then so sometimes you beat yourself up, like, decisions you made,
Mhm.
just that and the third. Instead of saying, no, I am exactly where I'm at in life, where I'm supposed to be.
Yep.
So that's why I said it about the victory lap and being able to be in your moment. Like you said, New York Fashion Week, so easy.
Yeah, and you're absolutely like I have those moments where I really sit back and like I am really Miss Exquisite Full Figure USA New Jersey 2025. I am the reigning queen. I competed and I took the crown. And not only did I not take the crown, I took several, I almost did what they call a clean sweep. I almost took all the categories but one out of about seven. So I won fashionista, I won photogenic, I won talent, I won shoe camp, I won social media. And then you look back and sometimes I did that. And I think that's what also keeps me going to say it's possible. You can do it. You know what I mean? And but like you said, it's still it takes to get comfortable, I guess. I don't know the lack of a better way of saying it, and yeah, I'm walking in New York Fashion Week.
Are you able to identify when you see a young lady that you could see yourself in that young lady,
Mhm.
and she may come to you and ask you a question, and you like, you don't really want me to answer that question. You really want me to let you know you got it to do it too.
Mhm.
How does that feel, like knowing, like you said, being an inspiration for people that, you know, we're still in a world where people weight shame.
Mhm.
People look at people who definitely the modeling and the fashion industry is known for it. Like, you got to be a size zero. You got to be
Mhm.
a size zero, a size two, and and being able to break the mold, so to say. Have you had that moment? Because that's a different feeling as well. Like, I inspired you. What
Mhm.
makes me, Keena? What I
Yeah.
did to
Me?
inspire you? You don't know. And then they see that confidence, like I said, that confidence on the runway. You exude so much the confidence. Then it's like when they see you backstage and you're not in your element. Do you ever get that little girl that comes up to you and tell you?
I've had actually, yes, I've had younger women that have actually approached me and say, thank you for talking about X, Y, and Z, like different places I've talked and really dug deep into a lot of situations and say, thank you for letting me know that it's okay. You know what I mean? Or they'll say to me like, well, I'm not good enough to do what you do, but I always wanted to. Like, what do you mean you're not good enough? No, you could do, like, there's no such thing as not good enough. I've been there. I know how that feels. Never say you're not good enough. Or like, even you'll have friends that say, Keena, I can't do that. You don't, why can't you? Like, I wasn't doing this 2 years ago. I was not doing this 2 years ago. I have not been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years. It has been only 2 years. So if you want it, do it. And if you, like you said, if that's what brings you happiness, do it. Because we're not promised tomorrow neither. You know what I mean? We're not promised tomorrow.
Where do you see, like, even okay, you filled out like I said, like you said, you filled out that application.
Yeah.
You got the call back. You done had this rise. You've been fortunate enough to be crowned. Is there something that you want to do outside of modeling, like take modeling to a different level, um, passing the torch on, maybe be doing fashion design yourself? Is this something like, I could see myself doing this for a certain amount of years, or teaching? I don't know. Is this something like, do you see your end game?
No. What I see is right now I'm enjoying it. And a lot of people will say, well, what's your next plans? I don't know. I'm really letting God lead me whatever way I go. So I'm doing everything that I just enjoy. And it's working. Because it's like the first time in my life I didn't have a plan. I got to have this and then I'll be happy. I got to have that and then I'll be happy. I'm truly like, I'm just doing it. And everything is falling in place because I'm trusting the process. I'm trusting God. And I'm finally in my life, finally, I'm listening. Because that's another problem. I didn't want to listen to nobody else. I knew everything. I'm going to do it my way. I'm listening. And like you said, to be in a place where 2 years ago, let's say three, because I've been sober 3.5 years. 3 years ago, I was in my last rehab down in Florida. I actually got this tattoo. This is my reminder. It's a lotus flower. And the reason why it's on my hand, I look at this every day to say I can do it. Because I said when I went to that last rehab in Florida and I got this tattoo, I said, I'm not going back. So this is my daily reminder of lotus flower because it's about renewal. It's about spiritual. It comes from a deep and muddy waters. But when it comes up in its bloom, it's one of the most beautiful flowers in the world. So I keep steady and just doing it. Like you said, 2 years ago, I hold several titles. I'm Miss Exquisite Full-Figured U.S.A. New Jersey 2025. I am Miss Supermodel Full-Figure 2023. I'm New Day Associate International Full-Figure Model 24-25. I'm the brand ambassador for the Great American Hat Show. I'm the spokesmodel for the Pink Room. A movie I was just in, my first small role, just streamed on Tubi September 1st, called Rent-A-Bay. So that was my first movie I was in.
Rent-A-Bay?
Rent-A-Bay, yeah. So it's Kyrie Terrell. He's doing this Bay matrix of these different Bay movies. So he had Work Bay 2. And actually my daughter was in Work Bay 2. So I was like, that looks cool. Acting is hard. Acting is very, very difficult. So I started taking acting classes because it's not as easy as you think it is. You think people get up there and act. But Rent-A-Bay, it's on Tubi. I mean, to say I accomplished that in 2 years, like you said, I'm still pinching myself. Like, is it real? Somebody that was, where I was, and I'm here today, like you said, and walk down the street and a lady says, oh, you're the model for the Pink Room. I go, yeah, that's me. And I still kind of like, oh, like I shrink a little bit sometimes. Like, oh, yeah, that's me. But I got to start like, yeah, you know what? Picking up, yeah, that's me.
Okay. We got two more things.
Yes.
First, I need you to let everybody know about your website.
Yes. So I have my website, www.KeinaMcCutchen.com. It's really a portfolio of me. It showcases my work and what I'm about. It showcases my platform, We Do Recover. Again, I talk about addiction to break the stigma of it because, again, it's a disease. It's not a choice. I also display the work of my daughter, which owns her own social media and digital marketing company the social couture. She is the backbone of my social media. She is what catapulted me to be where I am. And I also showcase, again, my portfolio of all my work, my modeling. So for a model, you have a comp card. So it has your headshot. It usually has a full body shot. It has your measurements. What I've done is I created and made it digital. So lots of times if someone wants to know, hey, what's your walk? Can you send me a walk? I can send them right to my website. So I'm helping some other fellow models to build their websites out and have the same, because we're in the digital world. So it's good to have that physical comp card, but sometimes we're doing stuff digitally. So, and that was really what pushed me into creating my website. And it's part of another part of what I'm doing, my Elevate Proxi, which is a virtual project management firm where I do help businesses with different things, with their websites and their business planning and things of that nature.
Okay, I'm gonna say 3 words,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna finish off these 3 words.
Okay.
We do recover.
And you want me to like add to that, or you want me to
Finish it.
whatever comes in my mind?
Finish it. That's your phrase. We do recover.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Oh, that means that all is possible. If you're an addict, your life is not over. Who cares? Don't hold that stigma. Don't hold that title. Don't hold that on your back. Don't hold the you're not good enough. You know, you can recover. Recovery is possible. Is it hard? Yes. Well, it is consistent journey. You're always recovering. But if you put the work in, you can live a clean and sober life. It is possible.
With that, this is a great episode. Beyond the Crown with Keina McCutchen. We appreciate her joining the show, and we look forward to seeing a lot more of Keina. 2025 has been a very interesting year, and I'm quite sure that going into the fall season, going into Fashion Week next week, this is Keina's season. This is a time where she gets to strut her stuff. So with that, thank you everybody, and see you next time.
Thank you.